Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the monthly general meeting of koha-US. I'm Chip Halverson. I'm the vice president of the group. And our president, Andrew, couldn't make it today. So I'm it. And let's see. And I guess we'll get right into announcements, which is our website hosting has been moved, was the first on the list. And just wanted to thank Christopher Brannon for taking care of that. And mostly without major interruptions. But yeah, Christopher, would you like to comment on it, or hate to put you on the spot right away?
Yeah, the website was separated from our consortium just so that, as we work on our site and if we do some rebranding down the road, it's not going to conflict with the koha-US website and or cause any issues. Since we've moved, the host moved their actual physical location of their servers, and so we had a little outage. And after they moved, after that, it was supposed to be 12 hours, and it was less than that. But after that, they had another brief outage because they had a problem with a switch that has been cleared up, and so everything's running again and going smoothly. So thank you for everybody's patience. Nobody barked about it, so that was nice and gracious. But yeah, that's all done, and we are on our own now. We have jumped out of the nest and are flying solo now.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thanks for all your work on that. We appreciate it. And let's see, is next on the agenda is Aspen Community Google Group. Is Bob here? I'm gonna look. Well, oh yeah, Bob's. Yeah, so anyway, just wanted to thank you for setting up the group, and I'm gonna see if you want to talk about how it's going.
Someone else definitely set that up, not me. So credit
Okay.
to whoever did that.
Or Christopher.
I think George. Yeah,
that was my
was
fault.
the one that spearheaded things.
All right.
If you want an update on that, I think the board I talked to the board and asked them if it was okay. Nobody here seemed to care. Christopher actually mechanically set up the group, and it's all set up. I'm one of the co-managers. Bob is a co-manager on that. And we announced it at an Aspen Discovery meeting, and within a half an hour we had like 44 members on it, and now I think it's up around 60. So it was something that the Aspen community needed, and it's getting more and more use every day.
All right. That's great. That's great.
I'll just add that at some point there might be, once Aspen has a place for that, we might migrate that list. But in the meantime, like George said, this was a huge need. So it's great that this organization could help out during this temporary period.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so yeah, we also had a good Aspen Koha meeting yesterday, and yeah, so that's going well. Next thing on the list is conference proposal submissions are open. I don't know if we've received any yet. Does anybody happen to know? Maybe one. Okay. So if you'd like to present at the conference, oh, good, Fred. Fred gave us the link.
Mine's forthcoming.
Okay, great. Oh, that's meeting agenda. Okay. All right. Let's see. So
If we
Jim,
only have the one submission, then Bob has to do the whole 4 days.
I can't run the tech and present for every session. I don't believe we may have to diversify that a bit.
What's the deadline right now for submitting proposals? Is there a deadline?
I do not know offhand.
I
But
think it's kind of
just,
soft. Usually it's about a month, but month or two, but it's kind of soft. I think we'll take them as long as we need them.
I dare anybody to look back in time and find a conference where we didn't set a deadline and then extend that deadline by at least 2 weeks. I don't think it's possible to find that situation.
Hmm.
There's one time we should have cut them off, but I don't think we ever have. We've always extended it.
Well, if I can figure out something to talk about, I'll put in a bid.
It's never stopped you before, Fred. It's never stopped me either, so.
I usually have
Mhm.
slides, though.
yeah, in the chat, Juliet asked, what do people want to see presentations about? Does anybody have any ideas to throw out?
What I would say is that what the presentations that go the best are just things that people are doing that they're kind of passionate about they're doing. So I would just start there. I mean, people are always interested in certain topics, but ultimately the ones that I think really land are ones where people are excited about some cool way they're using Koha, and it almost doesn't matter what the topic is if people are really engaged with that issue that they want to talk about.
Mhm. Yeah, sounds good. Uh-oh. Do we not have a link to the form? I think it was emailed.
I think Bywater had it up on their website. Let me see if
It might be helpful to put it on the conference page on our website. Might get a few more proposals.
Oh, yeah, actually, if you click next on the link that's in the chat that Jason put in the chat, yeah, that's where the form starts.
Yeah, I had to dig through my email to find that
Okay.
link though. So I think
So-
that link needs put on the conference page somewhere.
If
Okay.
we don't
Yeah.
put that on our website, that is a huge missed opportunity right there.
Okay. Trying to get that, make sure that happens.
The deadline is next week, 16th.
If anybody is unsure about doing a presentation, I would just like to say, if you're afraid that you're going to get up and fail, there is not a better group I have ever been associated with to get up in front of and fail, because nobody is going to be mean to you. Nobody is going to write letters to future employers saying, boy, I saw this person did a horrible presentation one time, and nobody should ever hire them. Everybody there is friendly, nice, helpful, and supportive. So I've never been involved with any other group that was as good to bad presentations as we are. So,
Well,
and
we're all
if you do
techies.
really well, yeah. What was that, Fred?
We're all techies, so we've probably been in exactly the same spot. Something goes wrong.
I would also say you could partner with somebody too if you're if you know there's lots of people in this meeting right now that I'm sure would be willing to co-present if you're just worried about doing one solo.
Mhm.
I would also suggest that, if you're afraid, well, somebody's already done this before. The people that were at the conference in Wenatchee, Washington, are not going to be the same people that are going to be at this conference. If you're afraid somebody's done it before, it's entirely possible somebody's done it before, but that doesn't mean there won't be new people there that that need the same kind of information.
Yeah, and
So,
I would just throw in like some Koha always has like new features and bug fixes. So if you were using purchase suggestions and you presented on it in 2405, by 2411, there's gonna be probably something new.
Mhm. Yeah. Maybe looking at the old conference, the archives might prompt some thoughts about some ideas about presentations that could be updated. And yeah, so that sounds good.
Well, for some it will be, if you're redoing one, it'll be new information for them, and others, it'll be reinforcement of, oh yeah, I forgot about that, and go back and work on it or whatever the case may be. So
Mhm.
it's always good to have a refresher from a different point of view.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Somewhere on my desk, I have a post-it note that says "Learn Docker." I think it was from Christopher, who wanted me to do a presentation. Think there'd be any interest or need for that still?
KTD, like the Koha testing Docker?
You can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be interested.
Or if what I have in mind for another project works out, I could talk about that.
Mhm.
Fred's going to do a presentation on Docker's shoes.
Yes,
Uh,
like modern art. A child could have made that.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, and conference committee meets next week, I think. It was delayed a week. I don't know if everybody saw that email, but yeah, I'm sure we'll be lining things up really quickly. So anything else on conference proposals and such?
So we're
Okay.
pretty confident that I can put a note in the minutes that the deadline says it's the 16th, but will likely be extended.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. So, all right, moving on. Development committee is next on the agenda, and we're working on the vetting process to decide what the committee is going to present to the general membership to vote on for developments that we might help crowdsource. And let's see, so we're meeting next Thursday. If you have any ideas about bugs you'd like us to look at, we're generally working from the crowdsourcing page that's on the Bywater site. But yeah, and anybody who wants to promote something we should think about, feel free. And I guess that's it there. So, and anybody else have any announcements?
This is a topic I wanted to bring. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll go right ahead.
So the Koha, and this is conference-y, but not our conference. The Koha Foundation is looking to join the Open Library Foundation, the newly created, in progress creation of the Koha Foundation. That's the plan, is that we'll be part of the Open Library Foundation. Their conference is is right around the same time as ours. It's the 22nd, I believe, of September. The 22nd through the 24th or 25th, I think. And it's going to be here in Kansas City. And I was wondering if anybody had any inclination on going to that. or if there was anybody, now that we finished talking about how we don't have enough presentations for our conference, is there anybody that wants to do anything at that conference? I plan on going to that conference just because it's a 45-minute drive. And so it's nearby, and I'm on the foundation steering committee, but I'm wondering if anybody has any inclination to do anything there. And it's available as a place to do a presentation. It's a lot of people, a lot of the other members of the Open Library Foundation are like Folio. The Aspen Discovery community is looking at incorporating its governing board as part of the Open Library Foundation. So there will be a lot of other things going on, but I wanted to mention that that's coming up, and that if anybody wants to present on Koha or Aspen at that, it wouldn't be a horrible opportunity either. And somebody just posted the link in the logo, at least.
Yeah, I just posted the
And,
logo because those gonna have pretty sweet conference merch because of that logo alone, but there's the link.
So I wanted to bring that up and make everybody aware of it. If anybody's interested in going there or talking about doing something there, let me know, and I can. And my email is george@nekls.org is the easiest way to get in touch with me. So I just thought I'd bring that up as something else that's going on that's Koha related.
George, do you
Thank you.
remember if this is a conference that is always in Kansas City, or does it move around?
Yeah, last year was in London at the same
Okay,
time
so-
as the Koha International Conference in Montreal. Before that, it was it's not always in Kansas City. So
Kansas City is an attainable distance for me, but probably not this year. That's why I was asking.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, it does move around. So
I took a look at the site and I'm thinking about it. So we'll see. And yeah, all right. Well, thanks for that update. And
One more announcement.
oh, good. Yeah.
The taxes have been filed. Just wanted to let y'all know. I know that is so interesting to everyone here, but John and I got our returns filed for the organization, and I was very proud of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, John emailed that he couldn't make it today. We're glad you mentioned that. And all right. Any other announcements before we move on? Okay, so we've come to the open discussion portion. And actually last month we ran out of time for open discussion because we had such a great presentation on the bookings module.
Well, I might, I'm sorry, I might just back us up. I was wondering if George had, so we talked about WOLFcon, but I didn't know if you had any other Koha Foundation update this month.
I don't really, because many of the members of the Koha Foundation steering group were at the Hackfest in Marseille, and they met there, and consequently the only people that showed up at the last steering committee meeting online were the people that didn't go to Marseille, because apparently at Marseille they all decided, well, we don't need to meet next week, but they didn't tell any of us. So it was really a non-starter, but they did work out a lot of bylaws issues and things like that at the conference in Marseille. We just haven't met again so that everybody that's part of that committee can discuss those, but there has been a lot of work on that. Other than that, I think our next meeting should be the 19th of May, which is a couple weeks.
All right. Well, so moving to this general discussion. I really don't have anything prepared here, so we could discuss the last upgrade or the next upgrade. Is anybody taking a look ahead to 2505 and see anything exciting there that's coming down the pike? Or-
I know that they're still doing like the soft feature freeze and hard feature freeze, so I don't know like what all's been finalized for 2505, but I do know that there is a bug open for sign off. Everyone else can keep talking and I'll see if I can find a link to it. And it has to do with moving holds between bib records, which I know that we're not the only system that's looking for this. I'll see if I'm gonna get that link posted.
Okay. So,
I'll throw some bugs out there that I've been posting or collecting. I'll throw them in the chat. Various things if anybody wants to talk about any of it.
okay, thanks. Holds.
This one that I just threw out here, just FYI, the 39702. There is a bug out right now that you will get an error on records that have comments, and your staff members do not have moderation permissions. It won't affect the record at all, but if you're getting table errors when you're pulling up a record, this is most likely why.
That's interesting. It says something went wrong when loading this table. Yeah. Okay, the other one, the ability to move a hold to a new bib record or item. That's a pretty nice one that's coming up, and I think that'll be handy for a lot of people. So just
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure if you were done with the other bug. Is anybody having issues with their holds queue? These are the bugs that I'm dealing with right now. Oops.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
what
seen
type?
I've seen that one a few times, Charlie, in our
We're seeing this. It's mostly like one-offs for the past year since it was I believe they did something last year to make it like fixed it a lot, but we're still seeing like instances here and there. Just this, I think last week we had two libraries we had that happen at two libraries consistently, like throughout the day. It's kind of better. I haven't heard anything new about this, but I was wondering if anybody else has had issues with their holds queue where item is showing as available and in transit kind of thing.
I don't know if it's related. There's another bug, and I'd have to go look it up. I can look it up in a minute. But there is a bug out there. I do know that if you trigger a hold for somebody and you do something weird like give it a status of damaged or whatever, it'll still be on hold for that person even though it's showing as waiting for them and they can check it out and it maintains the hold. I don't know if it's related to that. There's some weird wonky things going on with the holds the last few versions. And you know, I have mentioned it, or I did create the bug, and there hasn't been a lot of traction on it yet, which is, there's been a little pushback about it. It's like, well, just don't put the status on there. It's like, don't let people put the status on there. It's like, I don't know. It's a little strange that we can do things to records in Koha and the community doesn't flinch at it.
We've had issues with items being on hold and in transit, so they're on waiting on the hold shelf, but they're also still in transit. So tangentially related, but not precisely the same.
We're having issues with when we do the transfers to send, it shows as being on shelf when it's actually in transit. And we reported that, I think Andrew is working on that right now. I can't remember the bug number, but we use the transfers to send when we're doing our stack rotations. So when they're actually in transit or out, it seems to be pulling from the date due field in the record rather than from the status field.
Yeah, that we've had that happen a couple times to us too. The one that's really popular here is that a library A will have an item on their holds queue that doesn't belong to them. It belongs to library B. And library B is already confirmed, yes, it's on their shelf, but they don't have it on their holds queue. So if anything, I just wondered if this is just me. I've been seeing more and more instances of it, and I wondered how much it's affecting everybody else, kind of thing.
Is that a first available hold, or is that an item specific hold?
It's a first available hold.
Are you using your transport cost matrix?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Sometimes, I even sent in examples where the item is the last copy item on the record. So there's only one possible item that it can pull from. But it still shows up in like library A instead of library B's old SKU. Like in the whole system, there's only one item and it belongs to library B, for example.
There's also, I haven't touched it much, but there's also a table that you can specify what things can be transferred from where to where. You might double check that. Have you seen that table? Trying to remember what that
Besides
is.
the library cost matrix, or is it?
Yeah. Look
It's
here.
Transport cost matrix.
No,
yeah, there's like trying to remember what
Library, let's see here. Is it the library transfer limits?
Transfer limits.
thing catalog,
Yep.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, the
It's-
library transfer limits. You might check that table. Make sure something isn't off there.
And we had one that reset in the last upgrade. None of us touched it as far as we know, but all of a sudden one of our libraries, all of the boxes were unchecked and nothing could be transferred in there.
It's also maybe the default holds and bookings policy by item type too. If you've got it, if that item type is at a library that doesn't allow that item type to be put on hold.
It's mostly it's only books that it's happening to, and all books are available. I checked into that one. I thought it was that issue too, but yeah, all of our books can be transferred. I think we have a different item type just for reference books because we didn't want it. I don't know why. No, but yeah, I think it's mostly affecting books and AV materials. No library of things have been used as an example, if anything.
Those sound like some serious issues, and we've seen the problem with items that have a damage status of seemingly being in two places at once. So Jason's put a bug in the chat, possibly related. We're winding up with a lot of pending transfers.
Are your holds ever automatically triggered when you, like, we have a smart bin that checks things in, and
We have two AMH. One connects directly from outside, but that's a fairly new machine. We've had this issue before the machine. So the machine was installed in November of last year, and we've had this issue way before November. So could that be kind of contributing?
this was back last year this time that we had something that was happening like that, and it had to do with, we wanted transit statuses weren't getting reverted correctly. And I put a link to the bug that feels like it's related, but I'd have to look at it a bit more. I can't really remember what the issue was. But that it had to do with how our SIP and such was kind of confirming the hold or the transfers.
Okay, I will include that in my ticket, if anything, after I read up on this. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other major issues out there, or questions? Or
Well, we were
Jason?
talking about hold, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Since you mentioned holds, we've had one come up here where when we have one item on the record and patrons place holds on it, the hold attaches to that one item, and then additional items are added later, but the holds will never move further. It will never go to any other item within. It happens most frequently when it's an on order item. We've purchased it. We put just one on the record as an on order, but we maybe purchased 10 copies, and when they all arrive into the building, we add the items. Did that make sense?
yeah.
Okay.
That sounds weird. I haven't seen that here.
Yeah, we do
Okay,
the
so-
same thing and have not noticed that.
Sorry,
Okay.
could you explain it one more time? I was trying to.
So we do an on order record, bib record, and place one item on that. And if it's a very popular title like James Patterson, we'll get 25 holds placed on that before the items arrive in the building. When the items arrive in the building, we add the rest of the item records. But the 25 first holds will never attach to any of the other items, only to that first initial item.
Is it possible you're forcing item level holds on that item type or on that bib type?
I will look.
That's kind of how we do it, but it doesn't create any item level holds until we start checking in the items that we have ready for the patrons to take.
Well, I'll check into whether or not we're somehow forcing the item level holds. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Circin fine rules. It's OPAC. What is it? OPAC item level holds. Because you can set that to force, which will, for example, we do that for magazines. We force item level holds on serials. So it could be something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have vexing bugs or issues?
This is a bug that needs sign off, the one that I just stuck in there. It's for hierarchical hold groups. I don't know who wrote it.
Well, that's been
I don't know
working
who
on it.
wrote the patch. It's some crazy person, I think.
I
But
was trying to
it,
retest that this morning. I haven't gotten very far. It's a long test plan.
yeah, it's a long test plan and it needs some, it'd be nice if it was testing. What it does is, like I have a situation here where we have local holds priority turned on, but we have two library districts. So we have a set of branches in Donovan County that are all one library district. And so currently local hold priority gives priority to the library. We have it set so that it gives priority if a request is placed for pickup at Donovan County's Troy branch, the Donovan County Troy copy will fill that request before it's released to fill requests at other libraries. What happens though, since Donovan County has 4 branches, they would like their copies at those 4 branches to fill requests at all 4 of their branches before they go out into the rest of the system. And so this creates that opportunity where all of the Donovan County copies fill all of the Donovan County holds before they're allowed to go out, and all of the Prairie River School District copies would fill all the Prairie River School District holds before they go out to fill holds at other libraries. So if a library is a single library like Paola, the Paola copy fills all the Paola holds, and then it goes out to the other system. And so this just adds that layer of the local hold groups into local holds priority. And it's got a lot of different options to it, is the plan. And it's co-sponsored by NEKLS and Clams. And it'd be awesome if it could be in the next release. I don't know if it's going to make it because the feature freeze is like next week. So it'd be nice if some more people could go out there and test it, because I'm not going to have time to test it today. But it'd be nice to get some testing done on it. So.
Okay. Is there anything else out there?
You asked about features we're excited about. This one's coming, and I needed it yesterday, so I'm excited that it's coming. Additional fields for libraries means you can make your own custom fields. Right now, we're using things like the country field to fill in things that aren't the country so that we can leverage that. So this will make it so that we can, like, I need a nickname field for my library, so I can do that. And this is specifically for like branch administration.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm looking forward to this one too. I suggested it years and years ago and it never got any traction. So I think I even got a spec on it for how much it would cost to add it to Koha, and it was not important enough to pay however much we were quoted on it. So I'm happy to see this as an addition. We use the address line 3 for the director to put the director's name in, and Christopher and I did a video about how to customize what fields exist already. And so it'll be nice to have the ability to just add new fields as opposed to repurposing the limited ones we have. So I'm really happy about this.
Jason, I have a question. So we just repurposed a field, I think it's the country field, for subdivisions and apartment complex names. So when this comes out, would it be in my best interest to develop a field and then transfer that data away from the country field and make it its own legitimate one?
It would be cleaner for sure. But my concern when I was messing with it the other day was like, what notices are using that field that I don't know about? So I had to run a report, and I found that I had a bunch of notices using address 3 think it's like the ILL notices, but I'm like, I can't use that because I'm gonna have to rewrite the notice if I do. So I don't think the country field is used for anything, but in the future it might be. So there's always a good, I think it's a good clean solution to like make an actual field for your custom stuff.
Oh, sounds great. Good idea. Do we have a lot of Aspen users in the group? Because the one thing we've been struggling with is the other name,
Preferred name,
preferred
Yeah,
name, other name. Yeah,
Yep.
that situation. Yeah.
how it's
So,
not showing up in Aspen. I don't think that's an enhancement yet for us.
it doesn't show in Aspen. So what we did in Aspen was we have other name is the field customized to, like, we used the translation feature to have it display as preferred name, but that still writes back to the other name field in Aspen or in Koha. So that's something that we're keen to see updated as well, Chip.
yeah.
It is actually meant right now for Aspen.
Oh, okay.
I can share a link to the Aspen Gyra, which is basically the version of Bugzilla that Aspen has. There's a link there that I'll put in the chat.
Okay.
This was something that was discussed a little bit at yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before when we had the Koha, the Aspen users with Koha meeting. And I had some issues and I was in and out of the meeting, but it was discussed. I don't remember exactly what was discussed, but
Yeah, somebody at Open Fifth has it assigned to them and they have a test plan, so it looks like it's coming along.
Mhm. Yeah, we had Bywater had Bywater do a database edit where they're able to move the data that we used other names first for it, and they moved other names to the preferred names. So we got that batch done, and now we're updating them as we go to make sure the information matches. But it'll be great when we have preferred name in Aspen. Oh yeah, and Open Fifth is the new name for PTFS Europe.
Does anybody know how Koha handles preferred name versus first name when it sends SIP responses? Because we currently, our hold slips are printed using the first initial of the patron's first name. And so if we send a SIP response that's giving what we have in the first name field and it's different than their preferred name, patrons are going to be confused about where their hold is on the shelf. So that's why we haven't implemented the preferred name yet.
We rewrote our notices or whatever to and the slips and all to be the other name's preferred name instead of the first name. So we just changed that data field.
Yeah. So it might be a back end thing that I need Bywater to adjust on the SIP responses.
Are you using, like, I'm confused on how that's, like, isn't it still drawing on the notice template for no, not at all. Okay.
We send it through SIP to our sort assistant, and that's from FE Tech, and it creates its own hold slips. I can still customize it, but it's just, it pulls it from SIP.
Right. Good question, which means I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if SIP is going to be able to handle that because the SIP standard is so archaic by tech standards.
API might be.
We also use FE, but I'm not involved in the SIP part of that, so I'm not sure what we've done. But probably something I could probably let you know later. Yeah.
We're weird because we use first name because we have a lot of patrons who have 2 words for their last name, and that messes it up too.
Yeah.
Using FE Sort Assist, I did have issues with that. A different thing where they had to do a reg hack on the actual SIP fields they had. We still had that issue where if the name was hyphened, it would mess up and take the latter part of it and not the first part of it. So I think maybe reaching out and asking them if that's possible, if they can further dig into maybe reg hacking it.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to bring up?
I do. See, last month at the board meeting, we were talking about koha-US semi-booth at ALA, since Bywater's offering us some space, and I offered that if koha-US would pay, well, no, I would pay for food and transportation if koha-US would pay for the other expenses. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a savings over if we're actually paying for a booth. It's a huge savings. And I think the board's going to discuss it next week.
Okay.
About
To
that
give
possibility.
a little more context, Bywater offered us to share their booth space in the exhibition hall at the ALA National Conference in Philadelphia in, what is it, June? So
June 27th through 30th.
yeah, so basically it would just be spreading the word about us as an organization to anyone that's walking through the exhibition hall.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be there. And anybody else in the room is planning to be at ALA, we might be looking for volunteers to represent koha-US. And yeah, so
Yeah, John and Chip are both going, but they have to do other stuff.
yeah. So
It's basically what I did for the last ALA in DC. Oh, and I need a chair.
okay.
I had to take my own last time.
And I probably better bring a cushion because it's probably a metal folding chair. So
That I can manage.
yeah.
I don't think I can get a chair on the train.
No. So okay, well, anything else on? There's another bug in chat. Patron home library has too much responsibility. Did you want to mention anything about that?
Oh, yeah, we're looking at redoing some stuff in our structure. One of the things that we're running into is when we moved into Koha, we utilize, well, we have the home library set up so that patrons can choose their home library so they can determine where they want to pick up their materials, which kind of defeats other purposes of home library. Home library is tied to a lot of SIP stuff, particularly with vendors and subscriptions. And we also can't use that reliably to determine where the patron, where their taxes are paying for which libraries. This is particularly a problem with things like we have the purchase suggestions, and we don't just fill purchase suggestions for anyone. We fill them for the patrons that actually pay taxes to our specific libraries, and so we have, from the beginning, we've had a patron attribute that we call tax entity, and then we set up, you know, which tax entity they belong to. But of course, that doesn't tie into, you know, vendors via SIP, so, and it doesn't tie into purchase requests. So we're having to hack our way around it right now, but it would be nice if this home library had parsed out some things so that, you know, that pickup location at least was separate from that home library, so that, you know, we can say, okay, well, they can choose their pickup location, but it's not going to affect, you know, what branch they belong to, that they're paying taxes to, that gets to respond to those purchase suggestions, or what collections that they can get into, type of thing. So that's kind of why that bug was created.
Sounds like
I did
definitely
note
needed.
in the bug that Aspen, and it's a little bit convoluted the way they have it set up, but Aspen has the ability to separate that out on their end, and so you can hide or control the home library. You can make it so that they can't change the home library, but they can choose their pickup location. So it'll it's more of an Aspen setting that Aspen adheres to, rather than adhering to whatever the home library is set at. So that's kind of nice, and it is doable, you know, obviously. So hopefully, you know, we can get that functionality with Koha at some point, because right now I can prevent patrons from changing their home library, but then they would be stuck with a pickup location of whatever that home library is set to. You know, they'd have to change it for every hold that they do. One of the things that I'm tinkering with is creating a patron attribute for pickup location, and you know, so I would stop giving them the control over their home library. They could change pickup location, and then whenever they go to place a hold, I would have to have some jQuery that would look at that pickup location attribute and set the pickup location according to that attribute, and then they can go in and change it if they want. But it would basically refer to that when they load the screen.
And hopefully they're not using a screen reader or something that will just break your jQuery entirely.
Yeah, there's always that.
Yep. Okay, we just have a few more minutes left. Is there anything else to mention? I really appreciate everybody who's chimed in and kept the conversation going today. So I don't know. Should we go ahead and adjourn, or are there any last thoughts or comments?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for being here, everybody, and thanks for bearing with me. My first virtual meeting that I've led, so it's an adventure. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see you next month,
You
or
were great.
in the SIGs. All right. Thanks. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.